going on? Good morning, Sean. Are you there?
Oh, I'm here, Scott. I'm looking for this limo. I went down 95 back and forth, and I cannot find this limo.
No limo.
No limo yet, but they could be running late.
Well, you know what? I'm holding my breath, but to get here by 8 o'clock, you're right. They probably wouldn't be there yet. It's 7:29 WDCM time, so keep us updated.
I'll keep you updated.
Where are you out on 23? Or 95?
I'm just by Myers.
Just by Myers. Okay, you stay out there, and you call us back in the moment you have an update.
I will do that.
Thank you, Sean.
All right.
Bye-bye. Okay, before we break for news, what I wanted to finish on this Whitney Houston story, what bothered me the most, I didn't post this, but one of my Facebook friends did, and I ripped it off there. The people who were commenting were very pro don't do it. The people don't lower it. Don't lower it. But to them, and I didn't post it on there, and maybe I'll go home and do it today. But I just want to let people know that when Michael Jackson died, they lowered it in Gary, Indiana, and when Elvis Presley died, they lowered it in Memphis, Tennessee to half mast. And to my knowledge, Michael Jackson was not a per se drug overdose on his own, we've come to find out, but Elvis Presley certainly was. So, you know what, you weren't having a problem with this in 1977. What's your problem today? And the other thing is we lower the flag to half-mast when presidents die, and not all of them served in the military.
But they were a president. That's the
difference. But, well,
you don't have to be in the military.
We did it for Nixon. And he didn't leave on the
not on good terms.
No. So if we're going to lower the flag for Nixon, I think we can lower it, and we did that nationwide. You know, so I think lowering it in her home state is not a big deal.
I heard several stations playing the Star Spangled Banner by her, Whitney Houston, and I tell you, it is so great.
Amazing.
Oh, it is.
And I hope they play it at her funeral.
They should.
Yeah.
They should. Can you imagine Aretha Franklin performing? Because to me, the only person who maybe had a better voice than Whitney Houston was Aretha Franklin. Aretha does not have to get up there and jump around and put on a costume and have 50 backup dancers, much like Whitney Houston didn't, to get you. And Aretha performing, I can only imagine what that's going to be like.
There's a local lady here, Julia Vanderhoff. Is it Vanderhoff? Maiden name was Griffiths. She sings the Star Spangled Banner at the Popcorn Festival, and she sings just like Aretha Franklin. She goes up high on one of the last notes, and not everybody can do that.
No, it's the range.
You have to be, yeah.
It's the range. Oh boy, here comes the call again. I wonder who this is. It's not available. Well, we'll check in. Good morning. You're on WDCM.
Scott, this is Sean.
Okay, yes.
I spotted a limo.
No.
Oh my God!
You did not spot a limo.
Are you?
I'm on Boulevard. It's coming from the Boulevard. I'm not sure what this.
How big is the limo?
Oh, it's a stretch black limo.
How big is this thing?
Oh, it's huge.
Can you see in the windows?
I'm trying to get up to it right now. I just spotted it was on the Boulevard. That's the oddest thing.
Oh, geez. Well, you know what? We're taking a news break, and I might not be here when we get back. Sean, you stay in touch. You look in those windows, and you call back here.
I'll try to... Oh, crap. I gotta go.
This is so embarrassing.
Can you say that?
Physically or...
News coming up, 7:30. Oh, my goodness, the limo's en route. Good morning. This is WDCM News. 2 men have been arraigned in connection with the shooting death of Amy Aldridge on February the 8th. Raymond Bertuzzi, age 28, last known address 148 Garden Street, is charged with 1 count of aggravated murder. Bo Cook, age 25, last known address 379 Commercial Street, is charged with 2 counts of complicity to aggravated murder. Judge Teresa Ballinger set bond for both suspects at $2 million cash or corporate. Cook sat calmly while the judge read the counts to him, putting his hand to his mouth once. Bertuzzi told the judge that he wanted to pass on his bond. The maximum penalty on charges for both suspects range from life, with possibility of parole after 20 years, to the death penalty. Each charge carries a $250,000 fine. A preliminary trial is set for February 23rd in the Marion Municipal Court. If the suspects waive that, the charges will go to the prosecutor and then to the grand jury. Police have one man in custody after a reported stabbing early Thursday morning on the city's north side. Christopher Culp, age 27 of Marion, was arrested on a charge of felonious assault in connection with the stabbing of a man who police aren't identifying. At 2:23 a.m., officers received a report that a man had been stabbed in the 200 block of Libby Lane. When they arrived, they found that a 26-year-old man had been stabbed in the chest. The man was taken to Marion General Hospital for treatment. The case has been forwarded to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. Peace Community United Church of Christ, located at 4061 Columbus Sandusky Road, State Route 98, will host a family film night for folks of all ages on Saturday, February 18th at 6:30. The movie is Perfect Stranger. Pizza, pop, and salad will be provided. Call the church at 740-726-2808 or send an email to pastorjoel@roadrunner.com for more information. Marion City and County offices, along with Marion Public Health, will be closed Monday, February 20th in observance of President's Day. The Marion County Building and County Courthouse will be closed on Monday also.
The 25th?
Your road report and most accurate weather forecast are straight ahead. In the WDCM newsroom, I'm Scott Spears. Remember to check us out on the web at www.radiomarion.com. And now here's the WDCM road report. In the county of Marion, tree trimming will continue in Grand and Montgomery Township, and roadside berming will take place on Campbell and Chrissinger Road. And now here's the WDCM weather forecast. Today, clouds and sun with a high near 42. Tonight, turning cloudy with a low around 29. Looking ahead to Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 47.
Want to become a Buckeye? The Ohio State University at Marion invites you to learn how easy it is to become part of one of the nation's most comprehensive and highly respected universities at our next campus visit day, Thursday, March 1st. Tour campus, observe a class, meet with admissions and financial aid representatives, and have lunch on us. For more information, call 740-725-6242 or visit osumarion.osu.edu/visit.
February is Black History Month. WDCM, as a public service, presents moments in Black history. This service is sponsored by Delmar Distributing Budweiser, Marion Community Credit Union, Marion County Children's Services, and Vernhardt Insurance.
Profile America for the 17th day of Black History Month. Mae Jemison has several distinctions. She is the first African-American woman to travel into space and the only astronaut to appear on the television show Star Trek. She was on an 8-day mission aboard the shuttle Endeavour and appeared in an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation called Second Chances. Before being selected by NASA for the astronaut training program, Jemison had earned 2 undergraduate degrees, a medical degree, and served 2 years as a Peace Corps medical officer in West Africa, all before her 30th birthday. Among African-American adults, 1.5 million hold advanced degrees, compared to 900,000 10 years earlier. You can find these and more facts about the African-American population on the web at census.gov. I'm Andrea Rowe.
Black History Month programming is brought to you as a public service by Delmar Distributing Budweiser, Marion Community Credit Union, Marion County Children's Services, and Vernhardt Insurance. Scott Spears back with you on a Friday morning here on WDCM Radio. It is February the 17th, 7:38 in the a.m., joined in studio by the current Miss Ohio 2011, Ellen Bryan and Charlie Evers, whose program airs here on WDCM Saturday morning, 7 to 9, as part of our local lineup on Saturday morning. And Charlie, Sean called in before we went to break, and apparently there is a big limousine on the boulevard.
An interesting thing about limos. I rode in one for the first time last year, the night with the presidents, and there's only one way to get in and out of a limo. And once you get in, you got to scoot yourself down the
whole yes.
It's weird.
In a cocktail dress, it's no good.
2 doors in a limo, but you have to slide your exterior or your posterior or whatever it is.
Derriere.
Derriere. Slide it all the way down the seats.
Well, you know, Charlie, it's interesting to ride around in a limo because, as I was talking about last week with somebody, no matter where you are, that causes interest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everybody looks. It could be empty. Everybody looks.
And I saw a limo, a picture of a limo yesterday made out of a car like I've got my new teeny-weeny Fiat. Mm-hmm. There's a limo that's been made out of one, a stretch limo. It's amazing.
I wonder what the gas mileage is on a limousine.
Not very much.
Can't be very good. Well, Charlie, do you have a guess as to who this could be?
No, I have no idea. And I know it's not Martha.
I would guess not.
I wouldn't think.
No. Ellen, do you have a guess?
I imagine it's someone local, don't you think?
Local, I would hope. I hope it's local.
You guessed someone earlier who was, who'd you say? Celebrity figure. The governor.
The governor.
The governor. Well, somebody told me the governor. I don't know if it's the guy. I would hope he has more important things to do than to be sliding around
here. If you don't get along with what he's proposing, why, he'll run right over you, according to what he says. You'll be under the bus.
That's Governor Kasich for you. Oh, here's Sean again. Oh, boy. Sean Kraft out there. How are you?
I'm still following the limo right now. I'm on 95. It was odd. From the boulevard, it turned towards Myers, and it went in the Myers parking lot and turned back around. So I'm not sure if maybe the limo was trying to find out. I don't know what's going on.
His GPS went bad.
Tell him to
I cannot see who it is. The windows are too dark. I tried. The traffic is bad on 95, trying to get close.
Is there somebody in the limousine?
I can't tell. I'm trying.
Can you see the limo driver?
I'll see if I can get close, yeah.
Can you see his license plate?
Yeah, I can see the license plate. Let me see if I can see the driver here.
And see what number of counties.
I'll wait him to stop.
You're waving him to stop?
Oh, that's
Are you in the middle of 95?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can...
Go right ahead. Stand out there and direct traffic. I don't have the bail money, so don't come to me later on today.
Well, there's so much traffic, I can't get it.
Do you need an oxygen tank out there? What's going on? You sound like you're winded. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm okay. It's just traffic. I'm trying to get this limo to stop, but...
Where are you right now?
We are in front of Aldi's on 95.
So you're far out?
Yes.
And it's... How long would you say this limo is?
I don't know. It's a stretch.
And is it black, white?
It's black.
Black limousine.
Oh, it's nice.
Do you think it's heading this way?
I'm hoping. I'm following it right now.
Sean, what's the number of the county on the license plate?
I can't see that, Charlie.
Okay.
Is it foggy out there? Is the limo moving fast?
I'm not behind it. I'm beside it right now. I can't see the license plate.
You're beside it. Well, look over. Can you see anybody in there?
I told you the windows are dark.
Yeah, that's one characteristic of a limo. You can't see in it.
That's one of those things. Well,
how about I try to pull in front of him? I'll stop the traffic on 95.
Yeah, go for that.
I'll knock on the window.
Yeah. Well, are they moving at a brisk pace? Are they? I mean, you say you saw them coming down the boulevard, and then they went toward Myers, turned around in the parking lot, and now they're headed back this way.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. Jeez.
I tell you, I'll keep you posted, but right now...
Keep me posted.
All right.
We need to know before this person enters the building who this is.
I'll do my best.
Okay. Do you have the camera with you? Get some footage of this.
Okay.
It's going to be called evidence when the show's over with.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
He's doing his best to screen him for you.
He is, but he could do better.
Stopping traffic?
Well, but that's what he needs to do, Charlie, because we don't need somebody walking in here this morning causing a problem.
That's right. Is the door unlocked?
I don't know if the door's unlocked or not. You know what? This person obviously has a point to be here. I never would have guessed in 1,000 years when I read that note on Wednesday. Coming in this morning, I said it's an absolute impossibility that there's going to be a limousine on the road here in Marion, Ohio. Who is this?
Yeah, there is one local company at least with a limo.
But who would contract them?
Well, good question. You'll find out.
We're going to find out in under 20 minutes here, apparently. We're at 16 minutes. The sun's coming up outside. The sun's going down on my career.
So what are you going to do next week for fun on this program?
I might not be here next week.
Depending on the end of this.
As we have it now, Monday we're actually going to be joined by the dating doctor live in studio, who's going to be out at OSUM on Monday, I think at noon or 1 o'clock. And Monday morning, Dick Cavett will be calling in live from New York City.
Well,
wow.
Be talk show icon. Mm-hmm. Then we'll have our regulars next week. We'll have Marianne Michaels in on Wednesday morning. We'll have the psychic again, Brenda Fraser, in on Thursday morning. We have a Bob Barker and a Reverend Leroy Jenkins interview in the can that we may schedule in next week.
Brother Leroy?
Brother Leroy Jenkins from Delaware, Ohio.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that one's taped. I'm not going to reveal anything, but that was quite an interview.
Yeah, I wonder how he's doing since they cited him for selling holy water.
With chloroform in it.
It had chloroform?
Well, if you ask Leroy, no. If you ask the people who are drinking it, yes.
Well, here's an interesting thing. At one point, there was a movie being made about Leroy Jenkins, and I was given the job of making arrangements here in Marion for some of the filming that was to be done. And I've never heard, I made the arrangements and never heard anything about it.
I think it was made.
Really?
With Robert Wagner.
Oh.
And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Norma Jacob, your friend, my friend, was in that movie as an extra.
Wow.
I'm almost positive. I wonder if Norma's listening this morning. You never know. If you'd like to call in, though, we apparently have a limo on its way here. We've got Miss Ohio in studio. We've got Charlie Evers. I'm here. Limo's supposed to be here in about 14 minutes now at 7:46 on a Friday morning. Who's it going to be? What's the announcement going to be? We have no idea. Telephone number here, 387-9326. Internet, we're up on the internet, www.radiomarion.com. Search us out on Facebook under the name WDCM or Scott Spears, SCOTTSPEARS. We'll try to get some pictures of this whole thing as it erupts today and hopefully get them up on Facebook later in the day and maybe up on the internet in some way. I don't know. At this point, I'm a little bit uneasy at this point.
I was just looking up. Why don't you open up the Venetian blind and let some light in the... Well, it's light in here. But, you open up the Venetian blind, you can see the church steeple next door.
You can?
Yes.
We have a very nice view here.
And the emergency people next door have an antenna up, and the center conductor of the antenna is caught on something which I would think would almost destroy their communication. Apparently not.
Well, hopefully they can go up and fix it.
Yeah, now that they know it's there.
I'm going to touch on one more news story here in this half hour as we wait, very interestingly enough, on Sean to call back in or this limo to arrive. I don't know which is going to happen first. But, boy, that's big radio coming up here. I never would have thought that limo would have showed up. Never. Big news story that came out yesterday. Larry King and CNN have parted ways totally now. Larry King will no longer be doing his specials on CNN. His program, Larry King Live, was canceled in 2010 to make way for Piers Morgan tonight, but he stayed with the network and did 2 or 3 specials. But as of yesterday, they have canceled that agreement also, and there'll be no more Larry King specials on CNN. Larry King says he has nothing but respect for CNN, and CNN cites his departure on low ratings for his specials. So the guy who really put CNN on the map is now no longer with
that's
CNN.
The way it is. You grind them up and throw them out.
Charlie, was it really ratings or was it age? Because that was the toss.
Oh, ratings, I'm sure.
You think?
Yeah.
Because
Regis is my age.
Yeah, but Regis was not ratings. Regis was turned out. Regis said
he wanted it.
He said he wanted to, but he also said there was some contract problems that didn't exactly go the way he thought they would. I'm not sure. There's another call.
Cell phone.
Good morning. You're on WDCM.
Hey, I just heard Larry King's looking for a job, and he's coming to Marion, Ohio. I believe he's coming to your radio station to interview.
Sure.
Well, I tell you what, we have a limo approaching. Apparently, it's out there. I don't know if anybody's on 95. I don't know where Sean is. We're 11 minutes from this. Do you have a guess as who this could be? Because apparently, what has been speculation all week is now going to become a reality.
Maybe it could be with the county winner of the spelling bee.
That would be good. I'd be okay with that. The county winner, I don't know who that was, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, and because Ellen is there and she, did the scholarship thing, I think he's going to challenge her to a spelling bee on the air.
Oh, I'm awful at spelling. I sure hope not.
You couldn't do it, Ellen? You couldn't pull it off?
No, I need that spell checker on Word.
Oh, well, we're under 10 minutes. I thank you for calling it. Hey, maybe I don't think it's Larry King, but hey, if he ever wants to audition for a job, why not?
Sure. Have a good morning.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
She could be the person.
That spell check on the computer, isn't that great?
It is.
Wow.
And now it's on my phone. And it's on everything. We don't need to know how to spell anymore.
No, we don't. Forget calculators. We don't need to know how to add,
Cursive
multiply.
writing.
Cursive's going
No,
away.
that's gone.
My pet peeve for years has been teaching the kids cursive writing, and they grip. Is there a pen here somewhere? The way that kids today grip, it's almost like, they're, instead of I learned this way. You control.
Way.
Yeah, you control like that very well. But
that's how my mom puts the pen between her index and middle finger.
And you can't begin to write.
No.
Very well.
Difficult.
Yeah, why? I wonder why the teachers didn't straighten the kids out and make them write. Of course, you don't need to now.
No, you don't. You just got to learn how to type. It's how many keystrokes you can get.
True.
When I was in the 10th grade, I learned how to type. I had a teacher, make one error, and you had to rip the paper out and crumble it up and put
Was this a typewriter?
Oh, yes, a typewriter, But the same keyboard is still used, ASDF, and it spells typewriter.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Things I didn't know.
That's
interesting. Check your keyboard.
How does that work? Across the middle row?
You'll find.
We'll take a look at that. We're going to take. We got one break. We got one break left here in this half hour. We're going to take it. Come back. Maybe we'll get one more call in from Sean. We're about 9 minutes away from 8 o'clock. Who knows what's going to happen here? WDCM Radio, 97.5 FM.
You're listening to Marion Community Radio. Programming on WDCM is made possible through the support of individuals and businesses such as Wyandotte Incorporated. To learn more about how you can support Marion Community Radio, visit www.radiomarion.com.
King, there's an opening. Sean just got picked up for stalking.
Don't do that. That's the worst.
Welcome to the 97.5 Community Calendar, presented as a service of Roger Ruth, your Modern Woodman of America representative.
The Forensic News Team at Marion General Hospital is offering a free program called Transitions to enable girls and the women in their lives to share information. The program is offered from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, February 21st. For more information, call Darlene Spoonard, Forensic Nurse Team Coordinator, at 383-8677. The Palace Theater presents Meet Me in St. Louis this weekend, with performances Friday and Saturday night, as well as Sunday afternoon. Tickets are $20 and $15 for adults, $10 for students and children. Directed by Gregory Patterson, Meet Me in St. Louis is the Palace Theater's winter musical. For more information, call the Palace at 383-2101. And the Marion Public Library hosts Story Time for toddlers and their caregivers on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10:30, and again Wednesdays at 11:30 a.m. Story Time is geared toward children ages 2 and 3 and is free. For more information, contact your Marion Public Library.
If your group has an event you want listed on our calendar, call us at 387-9326. Presented as a service of Modern Woodman Representative Roger Ruth, 137 Sargent Street, 387-7770. modern-woodman.org. Touching lives, securing futures.
It's year number 13 for the biggest party of the winter. WDCM's Kids Fest returns to the Marion Center Mall on Saturday, February 25th. Free activities like face painting, inflatables, and a full stage of entertainment including a Ronald McDonald's Magic Show, animals from the Toledo Zoo, diverse moves, and more. Also returning is the WDCM Big Prize Blowout, featuring overnight stays to water parks, sports tickets and memorabilia, and a whole lot more. That's WDCM's Kids Fest, Saturday,
February 25th from 10 to 5 at the Marion Center Mall. More information about Kids Fest can be found on the web at www.radiomarion.com/KidsFest. WDCM's Kids Fest, made possible by McDonald's, Tri-Rivers Career Center, Streetwise Motors, Frontier Communications, and Marion County Children's Services.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott Spears back with you on a Friday, February 17th, 2012. It is 7:54 in the a.m. I'm lost now, Charlie. I can't even do the introductions here anymore. We apparently have a limo that was spotted, a very black stretch limo spotted on the boulevard this morning. Just 20, maybe 25 minutes ago. Sean Kraft, our in-studio help here, is out trailing that limousine. He said it turned off the boulevard, it went down to Myers. Last time we heard from Sean, it was by Aldi's traveling up the road. He doesn't know who's in it. We've heard all the stories. I don't know where we are right now, but this is Sean calling back in. Here we go. Sean, are you there?
Yes, Scott. The limo just pulled out right in front of your building.
The limo's here?
Yes, I traveled all around, and he just pulled it. It's right in front of the building. I can't see who it is. That they have not got out of the car.
Well, get out of your car and walk up to the window, for heaven's sakes.
Here we go.
Get up there. Go knock on the window.
They're putting on their lipstick.
I'll see what I can do here.
Who is it?
I'm going to it right now.
Are you is there traffic down there?
Well, there's traffic going across, but yes.
Are people looking at the limo?
I don't see anybody looking at the limo.
Who is it? Who is it?
I gotta go.
No, you don't have to. Who's in the limo?
You can't believe it.
Who is it?
You'll never believe it.
Who?
See ya.
Who?
Bye.
See ya. Hello? Hello?
We are hung up on.
What the heck was that?
Well, I cleared some path here for whoever it is will have a place to sit.
There's a limo in front of this building, Charlie. What happened to him?
Do you think they took him hostage, or...
They can have him.
He had a UFO.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Maybe
they took him in and they're examining him.
They're not going to find much. They're not going to get much. Now, this is radio, Charlie. This is live radio. We have got... I can't see. I have no window, but I'm told there is a black stretch limo in front of this building that has delivered somebody. I have no idea who it is.
Well, it shouldn't be very long before they come through this door then.
Oh, my God.
Last prediction, male or female? You got a 50-50 chance.
Most people have said male.
That's right. 50-50. You're right.
Most people have said male. It's been said it could be the governor. It's been said it could be Larry King. It's been said it could be a celebrity.
Justin Bieber?
Oh, well, I'd leave if it was Justin Bieber. But some people have said it was going to be a local person. Some people have said, I don't know.
Justin Bieber. You know, he's engaged. Is he engaged now?
He's engaged?
Yeah.
No.
He gave this great big ring to his girlfriend, but isn't he a little bit young to be so involved?
I don't even think he's 18. Yeah.
It's bound
How
to fail.
fast? I mean, we're talking about Whitney Houston. Look at the fame when you're younger. Ooh.
How can Justin Bieber manage all that fame and still be a normal human?
I have no idea.
Wow.
They're not normal.
I don't know how I can manage this anxiety and be a normal human.
Yeah.
Because we're at the moment here.
How's your acid reflux?
Not good.
I mean, it's
Not,
coming, right?
I'm in a bad way right now here in the studio, but I wish I could see. I mean, we can't even see from the vantage point of our studio. We're facing south. I can't even see. Somebody's out there. Mm-hmm. Who could this be?
Here.
Oh boy, here we go. As they enter the studio, who is it? Who do you have? Come. Well, that's Sean. He's no big surprise. No, who do we have out there? Who?
I can't see a thing.
Well,
I see a door.
Are they out there talking? We don't know.
Sounds like a man.
Is it a man?
I think you're right on that part.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, guess who it is? It is the 40th Treasurer of the United States of America, Mary Ellen Withrow.
Oh.
My goodness, Mary Ellen, what are you doing here?
I don't know. I had quite a ride out there, and this is kind of exciting because I hadn't been in a limo for a long time.
Now this is fun. Now nobody guessed it would be Mary Ellen Withrow, Charlie.
Yes. Have her explain to our guest just who she was.
Yes. Mary Ellen Withrow, Marion native here, went through all the ranks of the Treasury. She became the 40th Treasurer of the United States under Bill Clinton. President Bill Clinton.
I've actually heard about you. On my appearances, people have told me about you before. Yes, yeah.
What did they say?
Good things, only good things. They've actually said we should meet sometime, so.
Well, I am so happy to meet you because you sound very interesting.
Oh, well, thank you.
I've got a story I've got to tell here, if you don't mind. I did a big promotion for the $50 bill when the new one came out with the big heads. And we went all over the United States, and we went to 50th Street in New York, which was right across the street from Radio City Music Hall. And we had the Rockettes there. And not all of them, there was just a few. But anyway, I was there, and I was, talking about what a great thing it was to have a new $50 bill and everything. And then they ask the Rockettes something, and all the cameras go to the Rockettes. It was just like magic, zoom, over to the Rockettes. And what a way to lose an audience.
At least they have the high kick.
Yeah. Oh, they sure do. Yeah, and I couldn't do that.
Well, I tell you, Mary Ellen Withrow looking beautiful as ever here in the studio this morning. Yes. And I tell you what, we have a full studio. We're going to have an hour with our special guest, 40th Treasurer of the United States. That's a delightful surprise, Charlie. Mary Ellen Withrow. Charlie Evers is here. Miss Ohio is here. Sean's here. Boy, you ain't going to beat radio like this in Marion, Ohio on a Friday morning. Come back after the news. We'll see we'll catch up with Mary Ellen Withrow right after this.
WDCM LP, Marion, Ohio.
From Salina. But I was actually, when I was in Marion for an appearance, and they had said...
Good morning. This is WDCM News. 2 men have been arraigned in connection with the shooting death of Amy Aldridge on February the 8th. Raymond Bertuzzi, age 28, last known address 148 Garden Street, is charged with 1 count of aggravated murder. Bo Cook, age 25, last known address 379 Commercial Street, is charged with 2 counts of complicity to aggravated murder. Judge Teresa Ballinger set bond for both suspects at $2 million cash or corporate. Cook sat calmly while the judge read the counts to him, putting his hand to his mouth once. Bertuzzi told the judge that he wanted to pass on his bond. The maximum penalty on charges for both suspects range from life, with possibility of parole after 20 years, to the death penalty. Each charge carries a $250,000 fine. A preliminary trial is set for February 23rd in the Marion Municipal Court. If the suspects waive that, the charges will go to the prosecutor and then to the grand jury. Police have 1 man in custody after a reported stabbing early Thursday morning on the city's north side. Christopher Culp, age 27 of Marion, was arrested on a charge of felonious assault in connection with the stabbing of a man who police aren't identifying. At 2:23 a.m., officers received a report that a man had been stabbed in the 200 block of Libby Lane. When they arrived, they found that a 26-year-old man had been stabbed in the chest. The man was taken to Marion General Hospital for treatment. The case has been forwarded to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. Peace Community United Church of Christ, located at 4061 Columbus Sandusky Road, State Route 98, will host a family film night for folks of all ages on Saturday, February 18th at 6:30. The movie is Perfect Stranger. Pizza, pop, and salad will be provided. Call the church at 740-726-2808 or send an email to pastorjoel@roadrunner.com for more information. Marion City and County offices, along with Marion Public Health, will be closed Monday, February 20th in observance of President's Day. The Marion County Building and County Courthouse will be closed on Monday also. Meet Me in St. Louis, directed by Gregory Patterson and featuring a cast of local talent, comes to the Marion Palace stage Friday, February 17th and Saturday, February 18th at 7:30 and Sunday, February 19th at 2 p.m. The show is a rare treasure in the musical theater and is based on a heartwarming movie. Join the Smith family at the 1904 World's Fair and see how their love and respect for each other is tempered with the genuine humor that can only be generated by such a special family. Tickets are available now at $20 and $15 for adults, $10 for children and students. They may be purchased at the Palace box office located at 270 West Center Street in downtown Marion or by phone at 740-383-2101. Box office hours today are from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. For more information on all shows and tickets, go to www.marionpalace.org. Your road report and most accurate weather forecast are straight ahead. In the WDCM newsroom, I'm Scott Spears. Remember to check us out on the web at www.radiomarion.com. And now here's the WDCM road report. In the county of Marion, tree trimming will continue in Grand and Montgomery Township, and roadside berming will take place on Campbell and Chrissinger Road.
Or live tweeting with shows. I don't like to do that. But.
And now here's the WDCM weather forecast. Today, clouds and sun with a high near 42. Tonight, turning cloudy with a low around 29. Looking ahead to Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 47. Hey, Scott Spears back with you on Over Breakfast with Scott Spears and Company on this Friday, February 17th, 2012, 8:05 in the a.m., joined in studio by Miss Ohio, the current Miss Ohio, Ellen Bryan. Sean Kraft is back in studio after his journey this morning. Charlie Evers, who has a show right here on WDCM and, of course, Radio Royalty, as I said. He'll be on tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m., live here on WDCM as I get to sleep in tomorrow, Charlie. 5 days of getting up this early. I'll be in bed tomorrow. And Charlie doesn't have a mic. We're a mic short in the studio this morning, but that's okay.
You've been saying you wanted to be on my program. Well, in a couple of weeks.
It's my goal in life to be on the Charlie Evers Show. Okay, we'll work it out. I'll be able to fill my goal in life. And the big surprise was revealed just moments ago. Arrived in a black stretch limousine this morning. Couldn't think of anybody better after 5 days of suspicion and guessing and everything. Marion's favorite daughter, without any doubt, 40th treasurer of the United States of America, Mary Ellen Withrow, looking wonderful this morning. And Ellen was just talking. We're going to take some pictures, and Ellen will tweet those, and we'll. This is an historic radio program, is it not, Charlie?
Sure is.
It absolutely. Mary Ellen, you said he had a bumpy ride in this morning, but. Not bad weather.
It's not. It wasn't that bumpy.
Oh, it wasn't bumpy.
No,
It
was a beautiful ride.
Beautiful ride.
Sun coming up, nice weather, good driver Rico. He was a great driver, and I kept hearing this bump every time he stopped, and I thought, I wonder if his brakes are all right. So I asked him, and he said, "Oh, I think that's a pop can in the whatever."
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, and I do want to mention this, that Rico with Black Tie Limousine.
Yes.
Black Tie Limousine brought in Mary Ellen Withrow this morning, so we certainly thank them for making the trip out here this morning, and they're parked out in front of the studio, so if you're listening to this in the next probably hour, it'll still be out there if you want to swing by and take a look at the... Is it gone?
Yeah, he left.
He had to go do something else. Okay. Well, if you see a limo in town this morning at 8 o'clock, it's probably Rico.
Offer her a ride.
That's right. But Mary Ellen, it's great to have you in here this morning, and we want to talk a tiny bit about politics, and what's been your take on the Republican primaries going on? Rick Santorum now leading in the national polls.
Right. Well, it's been entertaining. Very entertaining, and I've watched it very closely, and we'll see what happens. But Santorum is now the boy of the month or the week or whatever. So it'll be it's a long time to go. You know, well, of course, Ohio is March 6th, so. They say Santorum's ahead in Ohio, and he's ahead in Michigan, which You know, I wasn't surprised because of the General Motors situation that had occurred when they were having difficulty, and Romney was not supportive of them at all, said let them go into bankruptcy. Yeah.
Bad move, I thought.
Yeah.
Very bad move. But also interesting in effect that Romney, his father, was the governor of Michigan.
Right.
And he, that's where he was born. And he's only winning one county. I mean, that seems to be very... I think he is going to lose the state because of the General Motors situation, but I didn't think he would lose it by that much to only win one county, if indeed that's the way it turns out. And Ohio seems to be the way we pick elections now for presidents, Ohio and Florida. And Santorum, if Santorum wins the Ohio primary, that's going to be a tough blow to come back from.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah.
I don't know if Romney will be, that might be the one that really knocks him out of the box.
Well, you know, we kept thinking, you know, when Newt Gingrich was ahead, we kept thinking, and everyone that was ahead, you kept thinking that they would be there for a while, but it's just been fascinating because it's just a new study in politics. Yeah.
Before we get off the political realm here, I have to ask this because Newt Gingrich is still in there, and Mary Ellen, you were in Washington when Newt had his big rise to fame as Speaker of the House, and you were there also when his dismissal came as Speaker of the House. Did you ever run into him? What were your feelings on him, Newt Gingrich?
Well, you know, I can't remember that I ever was anywhere where he was. All I remember is the shutdown of the government and what a tragedy that was. And we were scared to death, you know, about the bond rating, and now we've had that happen. And I tell you, it was just very lonesome at Treasury because everybody wasn't at work. It was very quiet around there. I was at work because both of my bureaus were busy and had to be producing. I manufactured money.
Mm-hmm. You're the one who did that.
we couldn't run out of money. And I just found all of that very, very fascinating on how everything turned out. The blame went to Gingrich, and Clinton was I thought very smart in what he did, and so we'll see you know, how things end up here, but the constant bickering isn't good. We all know that. It's just nothing but one side here and the other side there, and anything that the one party likes, the other party dislikes, and that isn't government. You know, government is the art of compromise, and it just isn't there.
You know, Mary Ellen, when Clinton was in office during your time, certainly the Republicans were no fan of his, and Gingrich really led a charge there along with Ken Starr and some other people. But even in that time, when I thought, boy, it's never been more divided than this, I think maybe we've become more divided now. And why do you think that is? We grow further apart than closer together.
I think the Tea Party had a lot to do with it. But because I think Boehner's having trouble working with the Tea Party, and that's my only observation of it. I don't know. I hope that they start getting things together, because this isn't good for the country. And when people are elected, they should think about the country rather than their next election. And instead, that's all they think about is raising money and the next election.
I think you're right. Campaigning has become a profession in and of itself. Fun question for you, Mary Ellen. I was thinking about this the other day. You became very well known, and we've talked about this, I believe, in past interviews, for your visibility as U.S. Treasurer. I think you were probably the most visible U.S. Treasurer in the history of that position. Used to go around signing the money, with which your name was already on. And just kind of a silly question here. How much money do you have with your name on it still?
Well, they tell me over $1 trillion.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course, that's how much was produced. Now, how much of that is still around? Most of the ones are gone, but there's a lot of hundreds and 50s because they last longer. And then I run across a 20 every once in a while, and I run across a 1 once in a while. I get real excited when I see.
Do you check every?
Oh yes,
yes.
It's like when I had the license bureau here. I still check all the license plates.
Well, Mary Ellen, did you keep a stack of fresh money with your name on it? Do you have any of that left?
I do. Mm-hmm. When I moved, I was gathering up money. We had it strung all over the house because we'd get it for some reason here, you know, and I had bought a lot of the first issues. There's 12 Federal Reserves, and each Federal Reserve starts with 101. And whatever the secretary didn't buy, I would buy because he gets first choice. And so I had it stuck here and stuck there, and I finally got it all together. And now it's quite a collection, really.
In your years in public office and certainly at the national level, what's your most prized piece of memorabilia?
I think probably the $20 bill I gave to John Glenn when he went up in space. I wrote on there, "Godspeed, John Glenn," and he took it up with him, and he brought it back, and he gave it to me with a certificate that said it had gone up in space, and I really prized that. So I guess that's the best.
That's a great thing. We've got Charlie Evers and Miss Ohio, Ellen Bryan in studio, and I know Ellen is looking to get into the business of broadcasting, so I know she's got questions. And Charlie, I'm sure, has some questions to weigh in with for Mary Ellen Withrow. But first, before we get into that part of it, when we were at the news break there, Ellen was talking about people had always come up and said, "There's a person you need to meet." Tell that story.
Yes, well, I was actually in Marion for another appearance, and when I was on the bike tour, and they told me, "You know who you need to meet," and I usually get that different people, but I've heard several times that I needed to meet the 40th Treasurer of the United States.
Well, here we are.
I know.
Here we are.
And who would have thought, because I had no idea coming in today. I didn't even tell you I could come till 2 days ago,
I
so
know.
this was fate that we met right now.
Yes, you got here early.
Yes, I apologize for how I really do just have thrown back hair because this was a 2:30 a.m. wake-up call today.
This is radio, and this is why we're going to take a picture.
I love radio.
But hold on, Mary Ellen, this is what Ellen looks like getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, I'll say she looks pretty good.
That's right. If we're getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's pretty good. Charlie, I'm going to turn the mic over to you, and you can have a few questions here with Mary Ellen.
Well, I was just wondering, too, Ellen, what are some of your thoughts regarding the current campaign going on? I mean, the Republican campaign among themselves. What do young people think?
Oh, very good question. Last week, actually, I was in Washington, D.C., and so I was able to see a few things up hand. I actually was able to meet John Boehner and just photo op, it's real quick. And when we were there, then we went into the floor and saw everybody presenting the different bills. And I looked at my sister who was with me, and I said, how do they get anything done when everything has to be so, they're the face of themselves, and then they're trying to pass the legislation too. I think there's so much to distract our generation and the people of our age that I think a lot of people my age get really frustrated with it and think, why can't we solve this? Why is this an ongoing issue? And so I think they turn it off, and they're able to tune it out so easily with all of the social media and different things you can do on the internet that it's so easy to just ignore it if you want.
Charlie, why didn't you ask me what young people thought?
I think it's obvious.
No, I could have been right there. I'm the speaker of the young generation. Sean's sitting over there. If we want to... Oh, Mary Ellen, did you have...
Well, I wondered why you didn't ask me.
Sean, did you have a question for Ellen or Mary Ellen or anybody here in the studio this morning?
Actually, got a question for both of them.
Okay, go right ahead.
Question for Ellen. What year did you start again to get started with?
About 3 years ago.
Oh, 3 years ago.
3 years ago, I did my first pageant, so not very long.
Wow. Well,
quick rise.
That's really good. Now, and I got a question for you. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. What was the hardest thing about your job when you was in treasurer? What was the...
You mean U.S. Treasurer?
Yeah, U.S. Treasurer, yeah.
Well, the very first days were very hard. Any new job is hard, okay? It wasn't clear my direction in that position, and I had to find my own way, I guess you might say. And they told me later on, they said, each treasurer has to create her own place. And you have your rules, which the rules were that I had oversight of the Bureau of Engraving and Printing in the mints, and I was to market the savings bonds. And then you decided how deeply you wanted to go into that. And so I think that beginning stage, I would go home from my new job, and I was so exhausted that I wasn't able to get supper or anything. My husband would take me out to eat, and I was too tired to do that. But anyway, it was just very hard on me at first, and I don't know if it is for other people, but any new job is hard. I don't care where it is or who it is, but I was also, I'll tell you, being state treasurer there were really moments about that too that someday I'll talk about, but maybe not today. But it seemed like it took so long to accomplish anything in the federal government. And I wanted to be in the federal government because I'd been in local government and state government, and I wanted to see if it was anything like it. Well, it took so long to do anything. And then you stop and think, well, this affects the whole country. And that's the reason it should take a while. And it was especially noticeable when Bob Rubin was there. I worked for 3 secretaries, Lloyd Benson and Bob Rubin and Larry Summers, but Rubin was there the longest while I was treasurer, and he had quite a thinking process through all of the big problems, and I could understand how this was occurring because it was very important. It was important for the country that he consider everything the way he did, because you have everybody to consider. Even when Sacagawea came out, every one of the Indian nations were contacted and talked to, and so it was just fascinating to me. Really.
Yeah.
Well, you're a legend, though.
Absolutely. I do want to let the listening audience know I actually have the headset on. We've lack of headsets in here, but if you have a question for Mary Ellen, or you have a question for Miss Ohio, Ellen Bryan, or you have a question for Charlie or Sean, call in and I will relay that message to them here live in the studio. 740-387-9326. I certainly don't want to deprive anybody on this historic chance to talk to one of the several of the great people in Ohio, and certainly some of Marion's favorite sons and daughters. Telephone number again, 387-9326. Just dial those digits and we'll get you up on the air. Internet, you can catch us streaming all the time, www.radiomarion.com, and we just updated that website on Monday, so check that out. It's a whole new thing there at radiomarion.com, or catch us on Facebook under the name WDCM, or Scott Spears, or Charlie has a Facebook page, just Charlie Evers. Search his name and it'll come up. One thing I wanted to talk about with Mary Ellen this morning about is Mary Ellen, to me, following your work through the United States Treasury and certainly what you've done through your life, and even in semi-retirement, certainly not full retirement, because you've told me several occasions you're not ready to hang it up yet, and thank goodness. Is it difficult to be a female who has a big position?
Well, it was, in some ways, it was difficult because I would be in meetings and I was the only female. But not really in a way, because ever since Harry Truman, the treasurers have been women. So that was established. And when I was state treasurer, I was the second woman state treasurer. And when I was county treasurer, I was the first woman county treasurer. And they said, well, you're not going to be able to open the vault. Well, I could open the vault until one morning the woman that cleans had washed down the vault and rusted all the and they had to call somebody in and get the vault open. But when I was on the school board for Elgin, I was the first woman on the school board, and that was a sort of a new thing. And in my career, I've defeated 16 men in running for office, and it wasn't because I was trying to do that. I said they just got in my way.
They tried to trifle with you.
Yes, they didn't think, most of them didn't think I was going to win, which made it easier for me.
Well, Mary Ellen, you in your career, which has spanned years now, back to the 1960s, I believe, in elected life, you've only lost one election.
That's right.
That's rare. Mm-hmm. What was that like?
Oh, it was horrible. Losing elections, I always feel for everybody that loses an election because I know what it feels like. That was for clerk of courts back in 72, when it was not a democratic year at all. And you never know that when you're going into a run for something, what's going to happen nationally and statewide, because all of those things affect an election, even though you're just running for a county office. And but no, I always thought I never want to lose another one because it was too horrible. So I said, when I ran for county treasurer, I said, if I don't win this, I'm done. And so I was always grateful to the people of Marion County for electing me, because I couldn't have done all of these other things if I hadn't been elected here. And I just thought that was just great to be able to do the things that I wanted to try to do.
You know, I brought up that, interestingly enough, the question about being a female, because it came out this week that Rick Santorum, who's leading that now, in his book, I don't have the exact quote, I don't have it printed out, but essentially the quote was that radical feminism has demeaned the housewife, has kind of made that look like a bad position, and the women going out and doing these things for feminism, it was a bad thing. Now, he kind of backpedaled on that a little bit. He said, well, his wife kind of wrote that part of the book and so on and so forth, but I think that might hurt him in a lot of places, Mary Ellen.
Oh, it will. Oh, did you hear the women on television?
That's right. They were not happy. They were none too happy with that.
Oh, they were livid. Yeah. They were livid, well, yes.
Ellen, as a 20-something, entering the career field and coming off this great run as Miss Ohio, what do you think when you hear a comment like that? In 2012.
Right. I think the sign of the times, I actually wanted to ask Marilyn, was that something you wanted to start out? Did you want to go break the glass ceiling, as everybody always says, for women?
Not really. That wasn't my objective. Why I got into politics was because I thought I could do better. And I didn't think about the whole thing about being female or male. And I've known so many women in politics, and I have a lot of admiration for. I can't think of a one that I don't admire, because they stand up for their rights and they don't deviate from that.
Yeah.
I think we actually lost a caller there, unfortunately. But if that was you, call back in. We'll get the call in here, 387-9326. That telephone number again, 387-9326 here at WDCM. Have a house full this morning, but a great, great group. Miss Ohio, current Miss Ohio, Ellen Bryan, 40th Treasurer of the United States of America, Mary Ellen Withrow, Sean Crafton here, radio legend Charlie Evers, whose show will be on tomorrow morning, 7 to 9, here on WDCM. Here we go. Hopefully this is them giving us a ring back. I believe it is. Good morning. You're on WDCM.
Yes. I'd like to make some comments to Mary Ellen Withrow.
Okay. She's here. Mary Ellen, did you want to put your ear to that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We'll get it up here. Okay, she's listening. Go right ahead.
Mary Ellen, I want to tell you what an inspiration that you have been to me.
Oh, thank you.
I just admire you so much. I used to watch you at the Elgin Games, and I remember asking you one time how you could do all the things that you do, and one of the things that you said to me was that, is that every morning you gave yourself some time to do some things that you want, because I know you're a wonderful seamstress and a wonderful artist. And so I have made that a philosophy in my life, and I have taught it to the students at Elgin High School. I love seeing your picture hang there. My question for you is, out of your inspiration and your art, when I was in Washington, D.C., they have a National Museum for Women's Art, and I want to know if you have anything in that art museum.
No, I don't, but that's a thought.
I often think that they should have some of your art there, because I've seen your art, and it is very nice, and they have a lot of other prominent people that were prominent in their art there, and I feel yours should be there also.
Well, you know, I appreciate your telling me that. I never thought of that. I used to do, I take art things to the Democratic Women's Club, and they would hang them for a while, but I've never thought of any other area in D.C., but I thank you for all those compliments.
Well, you have been a great inspiration, and I used your career often in my classroom.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Good luck.
Bye-bye. Well, that was a very inspirational call. I mean, that really...
Yes.
Yes. Well, I'll let you know who that was in just a second, so we don't identify them on the air, but... I didn't know you did art, Mary Ellen.
Yes, I did. That was a long time ago when I would get up in the morning and start painting. That was after my children all were in school, and I would paint for a couple of hours, and but I don't paint anymore. Once you get into it, it's fine, but when you get away from it, you have to start all over again.
I tell you, Mary Ellen, a Renaissance woman. We're learning all kinds of things here. I know we have got to take another break here, and we're actually just going to follow through and break for news here because it is 8:31 a.m. Mary Ellen Withrow will be with us through the remaining 30 minutes of the program. So will Miss Ohio, Ellen Bryan, and we're going to give all those tweets and things later on again because Ellen's going to take some pictures. Ellen's going to try to school me on tweeting. Maybe I'll be tweeting by this weekend. You never can tell. Charlie has the same thing. So stick with us here on 97.5 FM WDCM. We'll be back right after this. Phone lines are open, 387-9326.
Community radio is made possible through the support of Budweiser. Budweiser reminds listeners that February is Black History Month, and they're pleased to support Black History Month programming on WDCM. They also remind listeners to drink responsibly. If you drink, don't drive, and make sure you have a designated driver. This message brought to you by your friends at Budweiser, a proud sponsor of Marion Community Radio. Listen to 97.5 WDCM throughout the school year for the latest up-to-date closings and delays. Brought to you by Marion General Hospital and The Ohio State University at Marion. If it's bad weather, school bus problems, or any emergency situation, WDCM will keep you informed. Closing and delay information can also be found at radiomarion.com. Closings and delays on 97.5 WDCM. Brought to you by Marion General Hospital, where our work is your care, and The Ohio State University at Marion.
Good morning. This is WDCM News. 2 men have been arraigned in connection with the shooting death of Amy Aldridge on February the 8th. Raymond Bertuzzi, age 28, last known address 148 Garden Street, is charged with 1 count of aggravated murder. Bo Cook, age 25, last known address 379 Commercial Street, is charged with 2 counts of complicity to aggravated murder. Judge Teresa Ballinger set bond for both suspects at $2 million cash or corporate. Cook sat calmly while the judge read the counts to him, putting his hand to his mouth once. Bertuzzi told the judge that he wanted to pass on his bond. The maximum penalty on charges for both suspects range from life, with possibility of parole after 20 years, to the death penalty. Each charge carries a $250,000 fine. A preliminary trial is set for February 23rd in the Marion Municipal
Is there a
Court.
road named after?
If the suspects waive that, the charges will go to the prosecutor.
I think you look beautiful. What time do you wake up in the morning? Are you
Police have one
early
man in
riser
custody
still?
after a reported stabbing early Thursday morning on the city's north side. Christopher Culp, age 27 of Marion, is in charge of felonious assault in connection with the stabbing of a man who police aren't identifying. At 2:23 a.m., officers received a report that a man had been stabbed in the 200 block of Libby Lane. When they arrived, they found that a 26-year-old man had been stabbed in the chest. The man was taken to Marion General Hospital for treatment. The case has been forwarded to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office. Peace Community United Church of Christ, located at 4061 Columbus Sandusky Road, State Route 98, will host a family film night for folks of all ages on Saturday, February 18th at 6:30. The movie is Perfect Stranger. Pizza, pop, and salad will be provided. Call the church at 740-726-2808 or send an email to pastorjoel@roadrunner.com for more information. Marion City and County offices, along with Marion Public Health, will be closed Monday, February 20th in observance of President's Day. The Marion County Building and County Courthouse will be closed on Monday also. Your road report and most accurate weather forecast are straight ahead. In the WDCM newsroom, I'm Scott Spears. Remember to check us out on the web at www.radiomarion.com. And now here's the WDCM road report. In the county of Marion, tree trimming will continue in Grand and Montgomery Township, and roadside berming will take place on Campbell and Chrissinger Road. And now here's the WDCM weather forecast. Today, clouds and sun with a high near 42. Tonight, turning cloudy with a low around 29. Looking ahead to Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 47.
February is Black History Month. WDCM, as a public service, presents moments in Black history. This service is sponsored by Delmar Distributing Budweiser, Marion Community Credit Union, Marion County Children's Services, and Bernhardt Insurance.
What do you think of Scott?
Profile America for the 17th day of Black History Month. Mae Jemison has several distinctions. She is the first African-American woman to travel into space, and the only astronaut to appear on the television show Star Trek. She was on an 8-day mission aboard the shuttle Endeavour and appeared in an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation called Second Chances. Before being selected by NASA for the astronaut training program, Jemison had earned 2 undergraduate degrees, a medical degree, and served 2 years as a Peace Corps medical officer in West Africa, all before her 30th birthday. Among African-American adults, 1.5 million hold advanced degrees compared to 900,000 10 years earlier. You can find these and more facts about the African-American population on the web at census.gov.
Black History Month programming is brought to you as a public service by Delmar Distributing Budweiser, Marion Community Credit Union, Marion County Children's Services, and Bernhardt Insurance.
Oh, really?
You're listening to Marion Community Radio. Programming on WDCM is made possible through the support of individuals and businesses such as Wyandotte Incorporated. To learn more about how you can support Marion Community Radio, visit www.radiomarion.com.
Scott Spears back with you on this Getaway Friday morning, Friday, February 17th, 8:37 in the a.m. here at WDCM Radio. Telephone lines open 387-9326, and I could not be having a better time this morning. All week I had the angst over who was going to be in the limousine, was it going to show up, and boy, the person who stepped out this morning after she took a trip down the boulevard and out to Myers and back up the road here at WDCM Studios was our 40th treasurer of the United United States of America, a woman certainly befitting a limousine, Mary Ellen Withrow. You could not ask for anybody better, and just so happened, coincidence, to have Miss Ohio, current Miss Ohio, in studio this morning. Ellen Bryan and Sean Kraft here, and of course Charlie Evers, who's radio royalty in this town. I'm telling you, serendipitously things happen, and we had a serendipitous morning here, Charlie.
I don't think I could spell that.
Yeah, spell serendipitous for us. Mary Ellen and kind of all of us here were talking during the break, and I asked this of Ellen and Charlie earlier on this morning. The big story, of course, coming out of the Whitney Houston funeral, which will be tomorrow, which has been the talk all week, is that Governor Chris Christie in New Jersey has decided to lower the flags to half-mast tomorrow, and a lot of people are angry about that for one reason or another. Feeling she wasn't a soldier, feeling she wasn't a doctor, something of that nature. Earlier on, if you didn't hear the show, I said, well, they did lower it for Michael Jackson, they did lower it for Elvis Presley, and they lower it for presidents who, a lot of them have not served in the military. Mary Ellen is a political figure for much of your career. What's your feeling on this whole flag lowering situation and it being done for pop culture figures?
Well, I think she figures right into the people that have already had it at half-mast. Anybody that can sing the Star Spangled Banner like that, her voice and the other songs, nobody can sing like she did, I don't think.
She impacted a lot of people. Yes. Impacted a lot of people, and I don't understand what the problem is, and I don't know why we're not waiting for the toxicology before we just go out and speculate like crazy what happened here. I mean, she's a human being. She has a daughter, she has a mother, and let's let the woman be buried in peace, and then whatever you want to do, go ahead when you have the facts. But we don't wait for the facts anymore in this news business, Ellen, that you're entering in. Sometimes we don't really report in fact anymore.
But at the same time, she's a celebrity, so people kind of, when you are a celebrity, put yourself out there that people can say what they want about you.
Well, I think you're right, but I think, isn't everybody, and I understand in the world of YouTube and everything else, you don't get it, but aren't you entitled to some privacy?
You should. I guess I had a media law class, and that was one of the exceptions for the news business, is if they're a celebrity, you have a lot more freedom with them, and I guess they just have to know that in that career choice. I mean, people could say things about, I've learned that this year on a small scale, but, being that Miss Ohio, the face of an organization, they can say what they want about you.
Well, yes, they can say what they want to, but I think what it comes down to is everybody looks down so terribly on the paparazzi. They're horrible, they're terrible people. And then you tune on CNN, which is a legitimate news organization, and where do they get their footage? TMZ, right down at the bottom. They get it from the paparazzi. So where do you draw the line as a legitimate news person, and when are you chasing limousines and cars with a camera?
Oh, it's tough. And there's so many websites out there now that show every little thing about every celebrity, and I'll admit it, my home screen is one of those on my computer is one of those type of from like the TMZ kind of people, and it's just, I think in some ways it's fascinating. We're a little over obsessed with it, that we are sitting here discussing Whitney Houston's death all week, that everybody's been talking about it, but at the same time they have a huge impact on our society.
I'm just going to tell this story and try to get it out of the way as quickly as possible, because I like telling this story, and it has to do with media, and I think it fits this occasion very well. This whole idea about being first, I think, is what drives the TMZ, what drives the CNN to use a TMZ, what drives the Fox News to report whatever they report on, sometimes factual, sometimes not, sometimes opinion, but not said to be. MSNBC airs a little more on the liberal side, but much in that way. This whole idea about being first, that came from newspapers, because before television, before radio, most cities had two newspapers, a morning edition and an afternoon edition. So the idea was you had to be first, because if you didn't have the big headline in your afternoon edition, then your paper wouldn't sell as much as the competing newspaper. And that's mainly how a newspaper makes their money. Advertising plays into it, but back then it was sales. Radio and television generally have never made their money off of, you don't buy radio, you don't buy television, advertising is how you make your money. So it no longer became important who was first, although we've kept that moniker through the years, which I think is very interesting.
You still want to have the breaking story, though. I think even with the...
But now listen. Now say you're on Fox News, okay? Mary Ellen's favorite station. Say you're on Fox News and you report something, okay? Do you think somebody at CNN isn't watching you report that? And do you think they're not going to go with that in 2 seconds? And do you think the person who was watching CNN and not watching you is going to flip the dial to watch you? Yeah. It seems kind of fortuitous to me at this point. I'd be more worried about being right. And it seems like that's where we're not. We're not worried about being right. We're worried about being first. Let's be right more often than first. What do you think, Mary Ellen?
Well, I think that when anything is said or printed, they should check with the opposite side, whatever that might be, because that isn't being done anymore. They used to, if something bad was said about you, they would contact you and ask for your side of the story. They don't do that anymore. But back to the paparazzi, I think the first time I heard of paparazzi was when Princess Diana had her accident, and that was all over money. I mean, they were trying to get the shot so they could get the money for the picture, which, is sick. That's really sick. And I think that the fact that you should have understanding for the person, there's no understanding for that person because they're famous. There should be.
I really think so. I tend to agree with Mary Ellen on this. What do you think, Charlie? What do you make of that?
I think some of us older folk grew up where you had equal time. If you commented about somebody, you could offer them equal time. And that's not done anymore. Conservative talk shows, especially, just tear apart people. And it's, to me, it's kind of hideous. I mean, you listen to Mark Levine and Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity, and the words they use to describe the president or anyone else in power is terrible. And there's no equal time, which makes me wonder, why is equal time given at the State of the Union address? The president will give his, and then the opposite party has to give theirs. And on regular radio or media, that's not done.
That's a good point.
That is a good point. Sean, when it comes to your news, do you care about your station being first or right?
Oh, I want it to be right.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people... how many times have we seen somebody reported dead, and then they have to come back and say, wait a second, they're not dead. They just called in and said, you did that because you wanted to be first.
I mean, look at that, what was that story? Somebody died and they reported it too soon.
Well,
they had CNN had the sun on that. Who was that?
Well, I know for years they killed Bob Hope. About every 6 months, they would report that Bob Hope had died. And then I remember one time they did that around his 98th birthday, and CNN was on the air, and they said, oh, we were sorry to report that Bob Hope has passed away at age 98. And Dolores called in, his wife at the time, and said, Bob was very shocked to hear that as he was sitting around eating breakfast this morning, that he had died at age 98. So there wasn't even anybody who, they couldn't have even seen anything. He was at home when the story broke.
Yeah, it was Joe Paterno. Remember, they jumped the gun.
Joe Paterno, they jumped the gun on that about a month ago. They said he was dead and he wasn't, and upset the family very much. And that was a legitimate news. That was CBS Sports, I think, broke that. Said he's dead, and People Magazine puts it on their website that he's dead, and the Sun calls in and goes, Well, no, it's not dead. How must you feel if you do that, Mary Ellen?
Well, you know, that happened to me. Right after I became U.S. Treasurer, somebody reported that I had died. I was out west and fell off a horse. And the people contacted me in my office, and somebody named Mary Ellen, but her last name wasn't Withrow, had fallen off a horse and died. And so anyway, that's
you weren't even there, and you weren't even on a horse. It wasn't even close.
I was in D.C. at the time.
That's terrible. Well, Mary, the phone was ringing there, and if that was you, we'll get you up on the air. 387-9326 with about 12 minutes left in this show. So call back. We'll get you up on the air. But Mary Ellen, when we're having that paparazzi discussion, I think of all of us in this room, you've had the most visibility as a U.S. Treasurer. Anybody ever print something? I mean, that's pretty big, the dead thing. Yeah. But did anybody ever print something or do something that was just totally 100% not the truth?
Oh, but yes.
But the news, which one's the one that you hated the most?
I can't narrow it down to just one. I used to tell my secretary, she would bring things into me. I said, Sandy, I don't need to see this. and then the next day she'd come in and say, well, I think you ought to see this. Well, I didn't need to see it. Yeah. You know, it just doesn't do you any good. And I've heard many presidents really say that. They read a lot of newspapers, but they don't. I don't think they dwell on the bad stuff, and you can't. You know, you just don't. But of course, when you're running for office, the minute you announce for office, everything goes negative on you, and they start talking about everything you've done wrong instead of everything you've done right. and why that is, it's a shame, but that's what happens.
Again, the phone lines are wide open. We have to take one more break in this half hour, but as we said earlier on, we had a special guest this morning. Turned out to be Mary Ellen Withrow, but she's also got an announcement to make. With 10 minutes left, we're going to come back on the other side of this break and get the announcement in the other half of this piece of the pie right after this on WDCM. Dial us up, 387-9326.
Charlie Evers kicks off the weekend tomorrow morning at 7 on Marion Community Radio, WDCM.
What were you advertising?
Welcome to the 97.5 Community Calendar, presented as a service of Roger Ruth, your Modern Woodmen of America representative. The forensic nurse team at Marion General Hospital is offering a free program called Transitions to enable girls and the women in their lives to share information. The program is offered from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, February 21st. For more information, call Darlene Spoonard, Forensic Nurse Team Coordinator, at 383-8677. The Palace Theater presents Meet Me in St. Louis this weekend with performances Friday and Saturday night, as well as Sunday afternoon. Tickets are $20 and $15 for adults, $10 for students and children. Directed by Gregory Patterson, Meet Me in St. Louis is the Palace Theater's winter musical. For more information, call the Palace at 383-2101. And the Marion Public Library hosts Story Time for toddlers and their caregivers on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10:30, and again Wednesdays at 11:30 a.m. Story Time is geared toward children ages 2 and 3 and is free. For more information, contact your Marion Public Library.
If your group has an event you want listed on our calendar, call us at 387-9326. Presented as a service of Modern Woodmen Representative Roger Ruth, 137 Sargent Street, 387-7770. modern-woodmen.org. Touching lives, securing futures.
I was going to make it.
It's year number 13 for the biggest party of the winter. WDCM's Kids Fest returns to the Marion Center Mall on Saturday, February 25th. Free activities like face painting, inflatables, and a full stage of entertainment including Ronald McDonald's Magic Show, animals from the Toledo Zoo, diverse moves, and more. Also returning is the WDCM Big Prize Blowout, featuring overnight stays to water parks, sports tickets and memorabilia, and a whole lot more. That's WDCM's Kids Fest, Saturday, February 25th from 10 to 5 at the Marion Center Mall. More information about Kids Fest can be found on the web at www.radiomarion.com/KidsFest. WDCM's Kids Fest, made possible by McDonald's, Tri-Rivers Career Center, Streetwise Motors, Frontier Communications, and Marion County Children's Services.
Hey, Scott Spears back with you on a Getaway Friday morning, and I'm just about to get away myself here on a Friday morning, 8:52 in the a.m., February 17th, 2012. Joined in studio by Ellen Bryan, current Miss Ohio, 40th Treasurer of the United States, Mary Ellen Withrow, radio legend here in Marion, Charlie Evers. And Charlie, your commercial just ran. You'll be on tomorrow, 7 to 9.
Oh, really?
You can pay me when I leave today because we're going to get people to your show tomorrow. And Sean Kraft in studio. And here comes the call that I think we've been missing, so I want to get them up on the air. Good morning. You're on WDCM.
Good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
This is Fred Malone. I'm with the Marion County Historical Society.
Oh, Fred Malone. Charlie's buddy.
I had heard that Mary Ellen was moving back to Marion. Is that the case?
I'll let Mary Ellen field that.
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful. Why, Mary Ellen, I just wanted to extend an invitation to you to rejoin the Marion County Historical Society and become an active part of Heritage Hall and the Society here in the county. We'd love to have you.
I'll do that because I love the Historical Society. I was a member of the Historical Society in Treasury, and I still am.
Wonderful. Well, we've had an ongoing exhibit with Mary Ellen Withrow at Heritage Hall for a number of years, and it would be wonderful to have you back in the membership roles.
Well, you know, I'm thrilled that you called because I didn't even think about that. I've been getting situated, and changing a location isn't easy.
Oh, I understand.
But I might even have some things for you to put in the exhibit.
That would be absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that bill that John Glenn took into space, I thought, boy, that's something that I know people that come to Heritage Hall would love to see, so maybe we can borrow that sometime.
Yeah, I don't know. I hang on tight to that one.
Well, we'll guard it with our lives.
Okay.
Listen, it's nice talking to you, and again, I certainly extend that invitation to you and anyone that's listening to become a member of the Marion County Historical Society. We're trying to preserve Marion's history and show it to the kids that are coming up for the future generations. So we'd love to have you.
And Fred, you'll be on with Charlie tomorrow morning?
Yes, tomorrow morning, yes. It's our regular broadcast.
Perfect, 8 o'clock. I can come mop the floors if you want.
Well, whatever you want. Listen, I'll tell you, I'm always looking for volunteers, and I don't turn anyone away.
Charlie, do you want to say something here to Fred?
Fred, I can't hear you, but just come around to the back door tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
We'll be waiting.
You might tell us, Fred, when does the society meet, and what are the dues and so forth, so people will know?
Well, we are closed, of course, now, January and February. We're preparing for our new exhibit, which will be the War of 1812 and Marion's history up through 1859. But we'll be reopening again in March, the first weekend in March, for part-time hours, which would be on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4. And then in May, we'll have our grand reopening, and then we'll be open Wednesday through Sunday again. So, and the Historical Society has a program meeting actually coming up in February. I don't have that date in front of me, but it's very soon. If you listen to Charlie's show tomorrow morning, I'll have that information then. But we'd love to have anybody. The office is open Monday through Friday, so any questions, give us a call, 387-4255.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Hey, nice to talk to you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good weekend. And as I said before we went to break there, we can probably fit one more phone call in, too. I know this is a rare opportunity. 387-9326 if you'd like to call in with about 5 minutes left in the broadcast. But Mary Ellen, as I said earlier on, the person coming this morning was going to have a big announcement that was going to have some impact here. And turned out to be Mary Ellen Withrow, so we'll get that announcement from her.
Well, Scott, the announcement is, if God's willing, I'm going to be here on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock, from 8 to 9.
Every Tuesday.
Hopefully. I can't promise too much, but you know how it is.
That's right. As often as possible.
Yeah.
Now, how cool is that to have the 40th Treasurer of the United States in this studio, live on radio every Tuesday morning, with a segment called My 2 Cents? Ah, see?
Ellen just got it over there. It took a minute to drift over, but
that's why I'm the beauty pageant.
No. Scholarship pageant. We have to correct that. Darn right.
We'll go back to hour 6 and we'll.
That's right. But we're going to have fun with Mary Ellen because we're not only going to talk politics, we're going to talk about books maybe that are out there, movies, maybe old movies, maybe technology. Because Mary Ellen does technology too. You're right out there, right with Charlie.
Oh, what do you mean?
Or maybe not. No, Mary Ellen does things like Facebook and things like that.
Well, I do email and Facebook when I have to. I get a lot of Facebook messages that I don't answer because I just don't participate in very much Facebook. I'll tell you, the only reason I got on Facebook was because of my 80th birthday party, and I had all those pictures, and I wanted people to be able to get those pictures, and so they could get it with Facebook. So that's why I'm on Facebook.
Well, I think that's a good reason. If you search Mary Ellen Withrow, it's not really Mary Ellen doesn't keep up with it actively, but there are. I checked it the other night, Mary Ellen, probably. I'd say 70 pictures, maybe, of that party.
Yeah, quite a few.
Very nice.
Yeah, and they can still, I guess they can still get them.
Yeah, they can. I got them there the other night, so you can go there and take a look at that and have a good time with that. It's been a fun morning, and I want to let Ellen, who made the long trip this morning, if you have a final question, if you have a comment, we got about, we're going to take a call, and then we'll go to you.
All right.
So now you can think on it. You get a
Okay,
little time
good.
to think
I was
about that one. Okay. Good morning. You're on WDCM. Good morning. Nope, we lost that call. Well, if that was you and we lost you, give us a call back here, 387-9326.
I didn't have enough time. I thought we were having a caller.
That was quick. It happens that quick.
I'll say I have done a lot of media stuff this year, and this has been so much fun this morning. I have loved this program, just how we sit around and talk in here. I love the current event style of it, and then just... It's been fun, and look at everybody. I can't believe I've met everybody here today.
Well, you're a terrific Miss Ohio.
Oh, thank
yes,
you.
You're just terrific in the job.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you very much. And I'm enjoying it.
So I am so glad that you had fun, because I know getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning cannot be a treat.
It was well worth it. I do not regret this one bit. In fact, I'm looking forward to coming back.
That'll be playing on a commercial on Monday, probably.
Okay.
Miss Ohio says this show is the best. That's what it'll be playing. It will be on YouTube and all around. But it has been a tremendous pleasure to meet you. I'd never met Ellen before this morning. And boy, you are just... sometimes you get a preconceived notion, and maybe we shouldn't do that, of people who win pageants and things of that nature. But boy, you are bright, a delight, and just fun to have around.
Well, thank you.
And you are going to make sporadic appearances here also.
Yes, I would love to come back.
Charlie, we're just putting this over breakfast program right on the map.
That's right. You know, this has really been a successful week for you and for our listeners too.
Hasn't it?
This is the first we've had anything like this in a long time.
Maybe I should quit while I'm ahead. Turn in my...
Well, I was wondering, what are you going to do next week for a follow-up?
Retire. Monday live on the air. I'll come on and say, well, thank you so much. Goodbye and have fun. No, and I do want to mention next week we've got a lot of great things coming up. It'll be our first shot with Mary Ellen Withrow on Tuesday morning from 8 to 9 live here. We will have Mary Ann Michaels back in Wednesday 8 to 9. We have our psychic who yesterday put me in touch with a woman I really didn't care for in life who's passed away. But God bless her. Maybe she can get somebody I like this Thursday coming up. I hope so. Brenda Fraser will be back in. Charlie, you're going to make sporadic appearances on this show. I hope on Friday mornings.
Whenever.
You're coming around to it. Ellen will be back from time to time. And guests we have scheduled next week. We have the dating doctor who's going to be at OSUM. He's won some awards when it comes to public speaking, so on and so forth. He'll be on Monday morning at 7 o'clock live in the studio. And we've got Dick Cavett Monday morning at 8:30 calling in live from New York to give his opinions. Dick Cavett is a little on the liberal side, so I want to hear his opinions on Rick Santorum and Mitt Romney and all those things. And maybe next week we'll get our interviews in with Bob Barker and Leroy Jenkins, who we also have taped here. So we've got a big week coming up next week, and boy, what a big week this was. I thank everybody who's listened this week, and hopefully we can continue to build, and I feel like we're on to something here.
Right.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Charlie. Everybody make it a great, great weekend, and I will catch up with you Monday morning, 6 a.m. back here, and I'm sleeping in the next 2 days. Take care. Have a great weekend.